to have the I just wanted to have the Zoom call, like so you can just kind of tell the people about the success that you recently had and how how everything came about.
Okay, because I'm looking around, I have your books. I guess I didn't. I don't have them in on reach. I got all in the background. There, but of course, Navy Federal came. It was in September 2022. I received got summoned by Navy Federal concerning 2 credit cards debt that were $25,000 in. I started with my love for credit from listening to you on YouTube, and when I was married, I helped. You're married, you're trying to get your first house and first home, and both partners' credit and financially together is better. So I did some things with my ex-husband's credit, and the more I listened to you, the more intrigued I wanted to study about credit. So it was no surprise that I had a lot of credit cards, but these 2 in particular, the 2 that Navy Federal, and this is what I call my business partners, right?
Right.
But the 2 that Navy Federal was pursuing me for, which equal to I think $50,804, I wasn't aware of, right? And going through a divorce in 2018 and not really monitoring my credit and things like that, went through, somewhat of depression, not just about the divorce, but things that transpired that led to the divorce. And so 2022, they come knocking at my door, and I'm like, these are not my accounts.
Right.
Which it could have been, and I'm not saying it was, because he denied it. It could have been my ex-husband. But he has not admitted to that, so I'm not just saying, but that it was him.
Right.
Yeah. For a year, probably, I responded to him, told him I'm not familiar with these accounts. I didn't hear anything back. I thought the situation was, done with, over with. The account was established, I think, in 2021. And so I'm from Mississippi, and in Mississippi, you have a 3-year like statute of limitation, yeah, where they can collect. And so I thought that 2024, from April 2021, that alone was enough for them not to have legal rights to pursue it. And so they come again this year of June, and I get reserved paperwork after not hearing anything from them in September 2022 with a court date this time. The court date was in July, and I emailed you the day before. I have to look and see exactly what date that was in July. I sent you an email. I looked on social media.
Oh yeah, you did send me an email first. Yeah.
Look, okay, it was June 2nd. And the subject line, I don't think you can see, it's blurred, but it says, "Please help me ASAP." I'm sweating, I am sweating. And I was like, "Please help me ASAP. I need your help as soon as possible." And I said, I attempted credit repair some years ago and was successful, but I stopped doing to my health and stress status. I even live streamed on YouTube channel about your books and knowledge. I was known then as the queen of credit. So I did have some familiarity with the credit laws, the Fair Credit Reporting Act and the Fair Debt Collections Practices Act. But I never had to try to defend myself in court. So this was a whole another level for me. I was not familiar with. And I said, I now need your help. For me personally, Navy Federal attained a court date for me Tuesday, June 4th for credit card debt amounting in, I think I had the amount wrong earlier. So it's $50,436. I believe my ex-husband had these accounts. We are not communicating now, so I can't verify that. I have many credit cards, but these were not one. I obtained an attorney an attorney because I was summoned in September 2022, and I didn't hear from Navy Federal again until now. And then I went on about last year. I was diagnosed with cancer, and this happened in January. It was actually Friday the 13th of 2023, right? And so with my cancer, my divorce, I really wasn't on top of my credit like I used to be. However, my credit report is showing that the last date of payment was April 27th, 2021, and that the account was open in April 2021 as well. The statute of limitations to collect debt in Mississippi is 3 years. And this attempt has passed the statute of limitation, even if this account were mine. I submitted a counterclaim affidavit showing reportedly identity theft with my local police station. And they responded with a motion to strike pleading, and I put it attached. Our documents are attached, which you provide me some guidance on what I should do what I should do from here. I just found your email address. Otherwise, I would have contacted you soon.
Yeah, I remember the day when I saw it, I was actually in the truck. I called you, we spoke briefly. And I think I tried to just give you a pep talk.
You did.
Told you it was gonna be okay. And you went to court. Now exactly what you said, like what exactly, and that's the reason why I wanted to have this, because that'd be my main thing with most people, like educate yourself on it, do it yourself, even if you make the mistakes, because you get better at it, you become more knowledgeable at it. Right. And that's kind of the reason why I just wanted to talk to you so other people could hear like what you was able to accomplish with them. And you're not an attorney, you just, whatever you see. What when you went to court, like, because I can't remember exactly what you told me. When you went to court, how did it go?
Well, furthermore, you talked me all the way up to court. I think it was like 1 o'clock, and you was on the phone maybe 12:50, 12:55, and you told me just calm down, present my matter. Of course, when they sent a motion to strike my counterclaim, it had legalese language in it that I did not understand at all, right? Of course, you can't take your cell phone. Thing you can take in court is your paperwork that you have, and I'm facing a legal attorney, right? And I don't even have a consumer attorney with me. The night before, or we talked, and I did go to Amazon to download your recent book. I want to reread some things.
The Game of Credit.
Not the was it the Game of Credit?
Game of Credit.
The one that really helped me, and it's probably now my table where all my other paperwork is, the one with the chains. Was it
Conspiracy of Credit?
Yes, that helped as well, along with the Game of Credit. But in a conspiracy of credit, you have an affidavit of denial of debt.
Right.
Yeah, and so in the motion to and let me tell you, they're not trying to. They're not trying. I mean, when you go to court, they're going to give you as least time as possible to prepare, if all possible, because they put in a motion to strike Friday at the courthouse. Saturday, I received the letter via mail, and I had court Monday at 1. And so I did the affidavit of denial of debt, and that would stand. I included some other things about, the Fair Credit Reporting Act and the statute of limitation. They totally threw that out. I think when I told you that after court, you was surprised. You was like, how did they throw out the law about the statute of limitations? So they were going to allow,
you did tell me that it's like the judge is like, I'm still gonna let it stand or whatever.
Exactly.
Right.
And I think I told you, I said, Corey, I'm a Black woman from Mississippi. I'm going against a white male attorney. I'm not gonna win. And $50,436. That's a large amount of debt. And I was thinking about my check could have possibly been garnished for the next 5 to 6 years or more, depending on if they would have won. My house could have got a lien against it from what I hear or heard. All of those situations. So I want to let people know that when you hear that there's very little repercussions if you don't pay your credit card debt back, that's not always true. It really is going to depend on the amount of debt that they're saying that you owe and how aggressive each different credit card or banking institution want to pursue you. You know, there's some like Navy Federal, Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase. They may not fold, you know. And so be very careful of being negligent with your credit card debt if that's the case, and thinking that you might have very little ramifications. And so this was from the original creditor though. This was not, they did not sell it to a debt collector. And I do want to let people know that that's a very different beast. Like when they sell it to a debt collector, you know, that's a third party. So you didn't have any contractual agreement with them, you didn't do any business with them. And that may be a much easier case to fight. Right.
I'm thinking it's the reason why, because it was the original creditor that the judge threw the affidavit of denial out and said he was gonna let the case stand.
Okay.
But I'm not sure, like when you told me that, I think I told you to just ask them, like you wanted to see the application with your signature on it, like I can't remember, but you can remember better than I can. But go ahead, I ain't mean to cut you off.
No, you fine, because you the king of quit. I'm just the queen. Or I was the queen, so you're my mentor. And I know the number one thing you told me that a lot of people that may watch this need to understand is first you need to show up for court. That's number one. A lot of people lose just because they don't show up for court, and that's an automatic judgment for the debt collector or the original creditor.
Right.
And so he did, the judge, for whatever reason, throughout the statute, the 3-year statute of limitations. I'm not sure if that's only for debt collectors. And like you said, it may not apply to original creditors. But he did accept the affidavit of debt. And so I know, do you want me to say what it is, or people could just purchase your book and get it out of there? I don't like to give it.
You can say what it is, because my main thing, because most people, they be afraid if they go up against a lawyer or if they stand in front of a judge. And the thing that I be telling most people, they just like me and you. And the thing that you got to remember when you're in the courtroom is just say what it is. Like me and you talking. I think I did tell you that. I said, just when you go in, I said, just
talk
say
like I'm
whatever.
talking to you. Yeah,
talk just like you talking to me. Like, and I think that's what you did. I think it was one thing I can't remember exactly what it was. I told you if you hear something, just say hearsay or whatever. I don't know if it ever got to that. But that's what I be trying to, stress to people. Like, no need to be afraid. Just because, like you said, you're a Black woman from Mississippi and you facing this attorney, like, just say what it is. Hey, it's not mine. Prove it.
right.
Prove it's mine. Like if it's mine, then I want you to prove it, and don't just try to prove it just by a screenshot of some debt or saying I owe this much. So prove it.
Right. And so they actually emailed me on June 28th, the attorneys did, and said, hey, Mr. Loach, Navy Federal has authorized me to accept 75% of the total balance payable in equal payments over 60 months. So that's 6 years, and with no interest to accrue. I'm sorry. Please let me know if those payment terms would be agreeable. If they are, I would draft settlement documents to review the review that outlines specific. And I called you, and I think I sent you a screenshot of this, and you're like, no, don't settle, don't negotiate. That's again, the court date would have been Monday. August
Right.
12th. Today is August 10th. So they sent this email June 28th. We're like, no, hold out, it's not yours. And so I replied, and this is all I replied. What's in your book, Conspiracy of Credit? As I have stated, I deny this is my debt. I deny this is my debt, and if it is my debt, I deny that this is a valid debt. I deny the amount requested is the correct amount. I acknowledge this debt was established without my knowledge, and I have no contractual agreement with Navy Federal. I just spoke with the attorney from Experian concerning the lawsuit I filed against the credit agencies, which is another conversation, for reporting this account on my credit report due to physical and mental stress and financial damage that this has caused me. So I will not accept or agree to these terms. And I never heard from them again via email until yesterday, which was first email
The day before.
August 8th, and then they sent an additional email yesterday, August 9th, asking me to verify that I received the email and read it. And that email was a motion to dismiss. Whew, I tell you, oh my God, I text you with so much excitement because it is very, very, that's stressful. It's the first time for me. And my first time talking to you as well, I don't know if you remember, you told me, said, Tanya, this is a story that you can use to help other people, So just use this. You're gonna be fine, you're gonna make it through it. You gave me your own personal testimonies of you going to court, fighting creditors yourself and being successful.
Yeah. I told you about the biggest fight I had was like back in 2013. They had me on the news, said I tried to rent a place, and I ain't go to court. I was like, fuck it.
Right.
And they got the judgment, and they tried to come back and do like a fraudulent conveyance and put like a $90,000 lien on one of my houses, right? A house that me and my family was actually living in at the time, man. And with a $90,000 lien, they could try to foreclose. Like they was gonna try to do to you if they would have got there, they could have tried to foreclose on wherever you live at to try to satisfy the debt. But we ended up going to a higher chancery court, and I did just what you did. I went in there, stated my case, laid out everything, and I won. I won, and but most people didn't see that because I never came back to say, hey, yeah, they won the first time, but they won the battle, but I won the war. So, and
So when they won the first time, did you have to do a counterclaim for yourself, or how did that work?
Nah, they completely won. They completely got the judgment because I always had this thing like, that was the first time in my life that I had ever been served, because I would never let nobody serve me. I was like, because if you can't serve me, you can't get a judgment because I'm not going to court. But when the news reached out to me, I said, okay, I'll meet the news reporter, you know what I'm saying? But they set me up. I went and met the news reporter. He was in cahoots with the people that was, trying to get out the lease. So they let the process server know that I was gonna be there, and he came on. I got served on the news, and
oh God,
yeah. So I didn't go to court, because I was on some, I was just on some real fucking shit back then. Like I didn't, so I didn't go. So they got a full judgment on me, and I didn't know they was gonna try to take it all away, and they came back because I had taken the house out of my name long before we even went to court, but they came back and filed what's called a fraudulent conveyance. That means they saying like, hey, you transferred the property because you knew that you were about to lose in court, but that wasn't the case. Like I don't keep properties in my name. Like if you try to find me now, you're not gonna find nothing in my name. And once they got that judgment, then they tried to go for the kill. But then okay, I got to go to court now. And I went to court, and the same thing I told you, man, don't be nervous, just say what it is. Just saying you did.
Well, let me ask you this. Is it possible to transfer a house out of your name before it's completely paid off, the deed into another name before it's completely zeroed out?
Yeah.
See, I didn't know that. Someone told me in
Yeah.
order to transfer a deed, your mortgage must be paid in full.
Nah, that's not true.
Okay.
That's not true. Like I done had plenty of houses with mortgages on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I do I transfer the deed, you know. So that's definitely not true. Whoever told you that.
Okay.
All you're doing is a quick claim deed.
Mm-hmm.
I
Okay.
done listen. I've had credit investors.
Mm-hmm.
I have bought the house in their name and then quick claimed it over to my company. But the
Oh,
mortgage was still in their name.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So once you do that, they no longer own the house. Like
Mm-hmm.
they can't. The only person that could sell the house, like if it was in, like if I got the mortgage in their name and I quick claim the deed over to my name or my company name, they can't come back and say, "Hey, I want to sell this house."
Mm-hmm.
I can sell the house because I'm on the deed. So that's not true. That's
Okay.
not true.
Okay. And that includes even a business corporation. Like if
When you
you
say
like your
when you
deed, if
say
you want to change it from a personal entity's name to like a LLC or S
if
corp,
you
is
want to
that
quick claim it over to like a LLC,
right?
yeah,
Right.
you could do
Oh,
that.
okay.
I've done that.
Wow.
I used to buy houses like I used to get money from a hard money lender. So
Okay.
I buy like 4 or 5 houses at a time. And then I would quick claim the house over to my property management company.
Wow.
And I still had a mortgage on it. So
Okay.
yeah, that's not true. But, you know, I'm gonna do you one better. Like
Mm-hmm.
I never like, because I know, you trying to fight back, you got a good win with Navy Federal, by them dismissing. I'm glad because I know at times like he probably like, man, I don't think none of this gonna work. But it's still certain things that I know for a fact
Mm-hmm.
work with credit that I don't put on the internet. You know, I don't like. There like people got like this thing called like where they can sweep the credit and they get on the internet and they tell everybody. And I learned like from the past with the police report and all that, like it makes the information become watered down. Almost like when I was telling people, knowledge
Yeah,
has its greatest power when it remains a secret.
that's
You know
true.
what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But when we get it all done, I got some that's gonna really change your life, you know. So, but I really wanted to have this call like it's so to let other people know, like, man, when you get jammed up in certain situations, when it don't always fight process going through it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I really wanted just share with people like, hey, man, I went to court and I won.
Right. And when I first was summoned in September 2022, I went to a bankruptcy attorney. They don't know the credit laws. I didn't have a consumer attorney locally, where I
Right.
live, in Mississippi. So my next best thing was a bankruptcy attorney. But however, the way the bankruptcy attorney responded via letter, it did hold them off until June of this year. I think Navy Federal was aware of the statute of limitations, and so they wanted to, go ahead and try to get it in as soon as possible. At that deadline. But I do I will tell people that it does help tremendously to have some letter backing behind you as well. Because that bankruptcy attorney, again, it did hold it off for 2021, that response letter. If they so happen due to get summons, I do advise them to know how to respond to a summons. Don't just try to ignore it, because that can prevent a court date altogether. I had a debt collector to try to collect from me, and this was a whole different beast. Or it wasn't as difficult, but because I responded to the debt collector under the Fair Debt Collections Practices Act,
Right.
they never even got a court date. They couldn't even get a court date. And I want people to know that the Fair Debt Collections Practices Act is for debt collectors, and the Fair Credit Reporting Act is for creditors and bankers, the original creditors. That's something that I haven't heard anybody
Talk about.
talk about on YouTube. And I've heard you say before, I want you to elaborate on this. Because validation and verification, those terms are sometimes used interchangeably, and they are very different. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, you said never asked to validate the debt. Did you say never asked to validate the debt or never asked to verify?
Said never asked to validate, because I said they can validate.
Right.
Because look, now this something that, remember you I don't know, you were at the courthouse that day. You said, I want to sue. You said, I want to sue the credit bureaus. Remember you told me that?
Yes, yeah.
And I told you, I said, you can do it. I said, is somebody in that courthouse that you can ask, like, how do I file a lawsuit against the credit bureau? I don't know how that actually went. Like, I don't know what you actually did that day. I'll let you say, like, what you actually did that day after we had that conversation.
Because I actually have a court date for them next Thursday at August 15th with against TransUnion, Equifax, Experian.
And you didn't use a consumer attorney. You actually filed it yourself, right?
I filed it myself.
Right.
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 The amount that you file for, like if it's over $3,000, and that's in Mississippi, every small claims court is different.
Right.
If it's over $3,000, then it goes beyond the small claims, and it's a different procedure and process. But of course, so I kept it under the $3,000. I kept it under for damages to my credit, because I had some great credit cards and great standing that were closed. A domino effect because of this. When your credit score starts dropping, they'll automatically close your great credit card. So my credit score was the lowest it's been in his life. Let me tell you, Corey, I had never seen a 500 something. I was like, I'm I'm used to 800s and 750s and above, and that all depended on my investment. Like you said, never die with a 750 credit score. I do want you to elaborate on that once I stop talking. And one thing you said that triggered a thought in my mind is when you called me Tanya. You said, Tanya, you can borrow $1 million quicker than you can make it. If we can get the poor working class and even the middle class to understand that you can borrow $1 million quicker than you can make it. You can leverage $1 million faster than you can labor for it, And so I went and I searched on Google for the addresses of the
credit bureaus.
Yeah, the credit bureau. And this wasn't not their local offices that you dispute to. The agents address.
Yeah.
That's it. I found those addresses, and I wrote directly to their head office, right? This is not where you send your disputes to, right? And TransUnion is yet to respond. So I don't know what they're going to do. I'll see the court date, how that turns out. Experian reached out to me via phone and email, and so did Equifax. In fact, I spoke with the attorney for Equifax this Monday, and he said he first advised me, and this Monday, August 5th, he first advised me to do a identity theft report through the Federal Trade Commission. I had totally forgot that process, to be honest, when I was disputing. I did file with my local police identity theft, but they still didn't work to get it disputed and removed. And so once I did the FTC report, he wanted to see if he could negotiate. I submitted that to them via an email. They said that's not enough. We decided we're going to go to court. So through this conversation, he told me, he said, well, you're taking us to court. You're the plaintiff, we're the defendant. So the burden of proof is on you to prove that this is, not your account. I said, well, you can't report this on my credit report because according to the Fair Credit Reporting Act, and I stated the law, you must have a signed contract bearing my signature saying that I have some type of contractual agreement. And he said, no, that's not what we do. That's what you're supposed to do. So when I called you, you was like, no, am I tripping or what? And I'm thinking, because you both know the credit laws. And I'm like, that's the mind games that they'll play with you though. And I'm like, well, Corey, maybe I was tripping because, I thought the burden of proof was on them because they're the one reporting the account. And then I went back and researched because it's been some years since I did credit. And that's a big conversation too. I started doing credit repair, but people wanted stuff so fast. And then people would dispute when I've sent the letters off for them and they've signed the things. And then after the account maybe got deleted, they want to dispute and get their money back. So I'm like, you know what? Sometimes, Corey, helping people with low credit is low energy too.
Yeah.
Because they would try to scam out of everything. And then they'll say credit repair is a scam, but they'll scam you too if you fix their credit. Then they'll try to dispute and get their money back and everything. So I found the registered agent, right, addresses, wrote to them, went to my small claims. I think it was like $100. So a total of $300 for Equifax, TransUnion, Experian. And with that being said, oh, this is my daughter. Wrote a statement about 5 lines of what my claims are for, and that they are reporting an inaccurate account on my credit that has damaged my credit and my mental and emotional stress. Again, I put the Fair Credit Reporting Act laws on there that you can, sue up to $1,000 for this, $1,000 for that.
Right.
And that court date is next Thursday. So.
No doubt.
Okay.
But you filed it. Man, the big thing is you filed it for yourself, and you now you can do it. Like you don't need an attorney, and there might be a help to other people that think they can't do it.
Right.
Just got to ask questions. As far as me, when I said like don't die with a 750 credit score, I had made a video a few days ago about credit is the most valuable to you when you're young. Like that's when credit, like you can utilize it the most when you're young because you're trying to make things happen.
Right.
You're trying to put your life in order. You're trying to, buy your dream home and build your business and all of that. And I said, by the time you start moving into the second half or the third quarter of your life, credit at that point, it shouldn't be as important as it was when you were younger. Like meaning like when banks offer me or my wife things, they not offering us things like based off our credit. They're offering things based off our assets, like what they see.
Right.
So now, like, the credit is not as important, you know, because that's what they making us offers off of.
Right.
Like, especially when you're trying to just do big things as opposed to like, let me get a credit card to buy something that's not gonna bring me anything. Uh, it's not going to bring me a return on my money where I'm making money while I sleep. Because that's my main goal with everything is to invest in something that's going to make money while I sleep, or it's just some passive income.
Right.
And that's how you find yourself being financially stable. Like you put one thing in place, okay, man, this generates me 3,000 a month. You know it's gonna come every month. Now you do something else. Oh, this brings me 5,000 a month. So now I'm at 8,000 a month that I know gonna come every month. And you just keep building from that place. That came about, don't die with a 750 credit score, because I watched my mainly my two grandmothers. They were always so tight with their credit, didn't really want to use it or anything like that. And they both died.
Wow.
They died with great credit scores, but they were still poor, you know? Like one of my grandmas, like, I used to pay her light bill a few times here and there. So that's where that little saying came from. Don't die with a 750 credit score. But like, you know, when you're young and you hustling, like, utilize and you just try to acquire assets. Because the older you get, if you play the game right, that's when that's gonna be the most important thing to you. You gotta think about it, like the real people that you know rich. You think people want to loan them money based off their credit?
Right.
Nah. Like they can if they got assets, if they credit of 500, they can still go in the bank and get something. So
well, I'm glad you told me that, because I'm in the process of rebuilding mine right now, but I do have assets. Yeah.
yes, yeah, I know you told me you had, you know, some things that you can, you know, flip or liquidate, you
Right.
know. So that's basically what I'm saying. You know how you got that, you know, what you told me about. That's what I mean. That's the asset. Like you can get some bread off there and then build from there. Yeah. So, but but yeah, I wanted to do this call. You know, just as I said, you can be an inspiration to somebody else out there that
Right.
might be in a similar situation that you were in. Like, hey, just don't settle. You just got to fight these people back. You know. And let me say this while I'm on here, because I was gonna say this anyway. I was gonna make a video about this, like, because somebody somebody sent me a video like at 3 o'clock in the morning. One of my homeboys, he texts me a video. This guy, he got a real big following on YouTube. He made a video about a little known practice right now, and it made me so mad, because I'm like, man, listen. For people like that, everything is not for the internet. Everything is not for the internet when it's something that you can do to help yourself or help other people. That information have to be held tight.
Right.
Because when you start to, like I said, when you start to put that information out there, like, we ain't the only ones on the internet. The banks, the credit bureaus, the debt collectors, everybody's on the internet. So everything's not for the fucking internet.
Right.
And it go back to my saying, like, knowledge has its greatest power when it remains a secret.
Exactly.
So some stuff you got to keep secret.
That's why they don't teach it at schools.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you know, but we
Yeah, that's why they don't give people a head start and teach this stuff in schools. They don't teach you about creating your money. I think you and I was having a conversation too. You said education is overrated. And I said, yeah, I agree. You know, both of us have taught in the public schools.
right.
And I said vocational education is overlooked and formal education is overrated. You can be a plumber, electrician, and make just as much as attorneys and lawyers, but for some reason, especially our young men, they're not being advised to go many vocational routes anymore. And I don't know why, you know, I don't know why.
Right. Listen, man, I'm
I
gonna
had
tell
some students I taught that signed contracts from the door, vocational contracts, 2 years out of their studies, and they start making 100K already from the gate, making more than I made as a teacher in 30 years.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
it. Like you know, like education is overrated. I actually it's probably gonna be my 10th book that I write, but
Okay.
a lot of people don't realize like school systems actually, the first schools were actually put in place to teach factory workers, people that worked in the factories. And it kind of evolved, and like one of the people that's known as like one of the fathers of education, believe it or not, the Rockefellers.
Right.
Like if you do your research and start like going down the rabbit hole, you will see that the Rockefellers, they kind of like were the constructors of modern day education, but they had their own agenda for that. Like, you know, but that's a whole nother story. But yeah, plumbers, people that can do stuff with their hands and stuff like that, they actually, yeah, they make more money, and they always have a job, you
Right.
know.
Right.
So yeah.
With AI is going to take so many jobs. It's going to be hard for them. It's going to be years and years maybe before they come up with a robot that's going to come and repair your HVAC or do electrical work for you. But as far as, taking an order at Wendy's or McDonald's, all machine operated, all technology driven. They even have right now, I don't know if it's Harvard, it's one, but they have AI teaching now, already. They have degrees that you can get here in Mississippi, you behind in everything, but Mississippi State University, starting this fall, has a degree that you can get in AI, artificial intelligence. You can graduate with a degree in that. So, this is what's amazing to me, Corey. I think the Fair Credit Reporting Act laws was created when you actually did sign contractual agreements, right? Everything now has went to e-signature, or just went to when you apply for a credit card. It's not necessarily a signed contractual agreement. However, the law still states that that's what it takes for it to be valid. And I think I text you the next morning. I said, Corey, I just had an epiphany. If they have no signed contractual agreement, and so the most people sign now contractual agreement is on your mortgage and on a vehicle.
Right.
And so I hope people watching got that, what I just said. They did. They're gonna have to talk to us in private.
No, right.
Right. You can talk to us, book us in private. We'll explain it. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I want we're gonna have to do this again.
Sure.
After you win the other stuff,
I
we'll have
love
to come back again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad you did this call with me. I'm gonna call when we get off. I'm gonna call you in about 30 minutes because I got something I want to tell you.
Okay.
All right.
Love
All
it.
right.
Thank you
I
so
hope
much.
this helps some people. So I
It
appreciate
better.
you.
It better. King of Credit. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right.
All right.
I'll
Thank
talk
you.
to you
Salute.
later.
We'll talk.
Salute.